everybody, my name is Sam and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a Draw My Life video so you guys can get to know me as we all begin this great journey together on this channel. To start off in the beginning, oh wait, not that beginning, sorry. I was born at the top of the state of Illinois in Chicago in the middle of December, smack dab in the middle of a blizzard. And it was cold, let me tell you. I had no siblings, so it was just me, my mom, my dad, and our two cats, Cinder and Ashley, in a little apartment on the third floor of the building right across from a Mexican food restaurant where I actually had my first solid foods, which was rice and beans. Here's my picture of some beans. I was a calm baby according to my parents. I slept a lot and didn't throw too many tantrums. However, there was this one time where I was only a few days old and I refused to eat almost for a whole day. And there was also this other time when some of my muscles in my left arm restricted my movement near the elbow, so I couldn't bend my arm for a while. But with some physical therapy from my doctor though, I was just fine. After being in Chicago for 3 years, my parents decided that they wanted to move back down to Texas, since this was where most of my relatives lived at the time and still do to this day. It was also during that time that my parents separated and were later divorced by the time I was 5 years old. This started my life of splitting up between where I would live between my mom and my dad about every other week for the next decade or so. We moved around a lot during that time, from Houston to Round Rock, and then eventually to Austin, which is where I grew up for most of my childhood. When I started elementary school, I was your typical kid. I really liked music a lot, so I participated in music class a ton, and also in my school's choir for a couple of years. I also loved playing sports, so I grew a passion for playing soccer. I was a defender, and I was pretty good at it too. I do have a lot of funny stories about this time of my life, which I can share in later videos if you guys want to hear about them. This was also around the time where I got my first boyfriend. It was also during this time where I met the woman who would become my stepmom and the guy who would become my unofficial quote-unquote stepdad. Thankfully, they weren't like your stereotypical image of me and stepparents, so we all got along pretty well. I love my stepmom too because she had this flame point Siamese cat with her name Sibby or Siobhan that hated the world but ended up having a soft spot for me. Still, I ended up going to family therapy for the first time during this stage of my life as I was just starting to process why my mom and dad broke up in the first place and decided to get divorced. My therapist was really awesome though and helped me navigate through these questions that I had even though I was barely 6 years old at the time. Middle school, however, completely sucked. I had recently broken up with my boyfriend from elementary school as he started telling all his friends that I wasn't smart enough to go to the private magnet school that he was accepted into. I also ended up losing a good portion of my friends due to the ever-increasing trend of becoming the quote-unquote popular girl. I was never the type of girl that liked to dress preppy or wear makeup, so I started to feel myself become shyer and more secluded from everyone at school. I did make some friends there that I am still friends with today, but it was few and far between. I had some cool memories from middle school, but most of that time I really tried to block out. I was also forced into a relationship through rumors going around at school that I was dating this guy that I never really liked at first. Of course, being naive, I decided to give it a shot because why not, right? The relationship dragged on for 2 years, and I was never getting much out of it. It wasn't until I was in the middle of 7th grade that I ended it with him with the help of some of my friends because I wasn't really self-confident yet, but they helped me along with it. My life got a lot better when I went into high school though. My school was huge, so it was easy for me to find a small group of people to call my friends. I joined my school's marching band and played the flute, and that was when I ended up meeting my best friend in the whole world, as well as the man I've called my boyfriend now for the past 3 years. I love him so much. I also joined the theater program where I regained a lot of my self-confidence that had been lost when I was in middle school. And my dad, stepmom, and I also got 2 new cats named Tibbet and Durango, as Sibby ended up passing away before middle school ended. I was an A-grade student and did very well in school under the suffocating watchful eye of my mom. Foreshadowing anybody? It wasn't until my senior year of high school that I had my first ever panic attack. I was in band class at the time, and all I really remember is my band director screaming at the symphonic wind ensemble that I was in, that we were terrible players, and several other things that I really don't want to exactly remember. My brain didn't register most of that class, as all I wanted to do was run out of class and cry my eyes out. When I went to my study hall in the next period, that is exactly what I did, in the corner of the classroom. During the last 2 years of high school, I would continue to have anxiety and panic attacks without really knowing what they were exactly. I ended up going to therapy for about 6 months, but it didn't really help a ton. It wasn't until I got to college that I finally found the help I desperately needed. It was through my college's counseling services program and my on-staff therapist that I was able to meet my on-staff psychiatrist for free. It was with my psychiatrist that I was diagnosed with several psychiatric disorders, including generalized anxiety disorder, or GAD, major depressive disorder, or MDD, obsessive compulsive disorder, or OCD, panic disorder, or PD, mood disorder not otherwise specified, or NOS, and possible bipolar II disorder. I knew that what I had going on was terrible and debilitating, but it wasn't until then that I really realized severe changes need to be made into my life to make myself better. However, I could never do it in good conscience without telling my parents. It shocked them, understandably, but my dad and stepmom were quick to provide me the support that I needed to move forward. My mom didn't exactly believe me at first, along with some other of my parents, but she eventually came around to accept it somewhat. But it wasn't all better from then on, however. Due to all my conditions, I was failing some classes and struggling a ton in college. While my dad wanted to support me and help me with strategies on digging myself out of the hole I had made for myself, all my mom seemed to want to do was make me feel miserable. Whenever I would come to her with a problem about my academics, she would always push back and tell me what a horrible student I was and that I was never doing enough. This was a reoccurring pattern from high school, which I had made her promise that she was going to ease up on, but you can't change people, only how you react to it. So I decided to not let my mom's negativity decide for me what I needed to do to make myself successful in college. After all, I was only a freshman, and it was okay to stumble a bit before becoming a super successful college student. I had also made the decision a couple months ago to take my declining mental health disabilities into my own hands. I applied for a psychiatric and medical response service dog with a company a few hours away, and I'm close to receiving my dog to start owner training within the next month or so. Hopefully, along with the rest of my college peers, we'll all be able to be on campus together again as we continue to fight and prevent the spread of this coronavirus. And although my mental health struggles continue throughout this time, I wanted to make this channel to share my stories, both happy, funny, and sad, and have new memories to share with you all as I start this new chapter in my life. This was my Draw My Life, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you later!